Hi, welcome to Crafting with Kristen. Today we're going to be doing another upcycled light bulb tutorial. This is a great way to use old burnout light bulbs. I'm going to have the supply list in the description below, and it's going to be very similar to the last project that we did. I said we weren't going to do the holiday thing with all the cutesy and the glitter and the ribbons. We're not doing it. All right, we're gonna base coat our light bulb in a sort of neutral tan, fleshy, brownish color. You can only base coat one side at a time unless you hot glue a piece of string or like a paper clip to the bottom of it and hang it. It takes a couple coats to get it opaque anyways, so it is going to take some time to get a good base coat on it. You can buy this color pre-made, or you can mix two neutrals together like purple and yellow or blue and orange or green and red to get a brown color, and then just lighten it up with some white. I used more of an orange and blue base. Now we're going to start outlining the mouth. It's kind of a slightly ovalish shape with a line in the middle of it. And then the nose is like an upside down heart. And then we're doing two little angry eye shapes that are almost sort of a triangular rectangle, if that makes sense. In one of my other videos where I painted Eddie on a wine glass, I used a technique where you kind of draw an X to mark the shape of his eyes. And now I'm mixing up a darker brown using that same sort of technique, but you can also buy a dark brown that's already pre-mixed. Now I'm taking this wide angle brush and I'm blocking in some areas with the dark brown. I'm mostly kind of mimicking the areas that I've already marked off with the black paint. Spending a lot of time looking at your reference photo is going to help you mark down the darks and lights a lot too. And now I sort of have an orangey mid-tone color that I'm using just to blend that color in between the fleshy color that I have and the dark brown. Creating a smooth gradient is really going to make the painting believable. It might look a little muddy and sloppy in the beginning, but the more you build up on it, the better it's going to look. It just takes time. And now I'm blocking in the bottom of the neck with pretty much a black-gray mixture, and I blocked in the eyes with black. Now I'm making a nice crisp white highlight along the top of the eye. And then I'm repeating the same process with this space above the nose. It's kind of an upside-down U shape. And then I'm highlighting the bottom ridge of his lip and the bottom jawbone with that lighter color. And then I'm taking some of that middle tan color and I'm just kind of blending the lighter color that I've mixed in with it. And along the top part of his mouth, it's a lot of thin curved little lines all coming down towards his mouth in sort of a, think about if you were drawing a pumpkin and you were drawing all the ridges on a pumpkin. And that's kind of the same technique we're going to go for the overall texture. It's a lot of line direction creating Eddie once you have all this groundwork down of what the shapes you're going to trace are. Building up some of that lighter color where the forehead shine would be. Now I'm taking a little white paint and I'm starting to block in where his teeth are going to be. I'm kind of just drawing a straight line at the moment, but we'll build up the shape of the teeth with some darker paint later. We're going to do a nice circular little highlight on the top of his forehead, and I'm just drawing little curved lines all along the sides of his face to create that really like old man texture on the side of his face. I'm using a liner brush to do all this. Now I'm taking some black paint and I'm really defining a lot of the line work around his eyes. So I'm taking my liner brush and I'm starting where the darkness the dark shadows in his eye are, and I'm just kind of dragging it down almost like you were drawing little eyelashes under his eye. I'm repeating the same process around where his nose and his lips are. Like I said before, it's kind of like drawing ridges if you were drawing a pumpkin. I'm going to do little vertical lines underneath his neck. And now I'm going to start outlining around his eyes. I'm just kind of tracing and repeating the same shape I already did. And then I'm adding little dark lines in between the light lines that I've drawn. And I'm outlining his teeth. It's kind of like drawing little Tic Tacs. Now I'm starting to blend a little bit of this dark brown to create a gradient where his forehead is and where it goes to the back of his head. Bringing some highlights along his eyebrows and on the top of his forehead and along that lip line. Now I'm mixing up a little dark blue, a charcoal brown color, and I'm drawing in more of these little ridges all along the back of his head, outlining those little Tic Tac teeth. I'm leaving a little line of black in between the teeth. Outlining the jaw, adding more little ridges in between his cheekbones and his eyes. Let that dry a moment, and I'm mixing up a little gray, and I'm going to do 2 dots kind of right around in the center of his eye socket. And then I'm going to put a teeny tiny little dot of white in the middle of that. I'm going to take some more white, and I'm just going to highlight the very top of his nose, the outer corners of his eyes, and along the lip line. Now I'm just going to blend up the back. So I'm taking some of that like medium tan color, and then I'm getting some black, and I'm just kind of blending it. It's kind of like drawing a pumpkin on the back of his head, except with brown and tan shades. And we're just doing all this variation between dark and light line work. You don't have to go as crazy into the detail on the back. Most people aren't going to see the back of the ornament anyways. Dry a moment. Now we're going to hot glue a little scarf that I've made out of felt. I just cut a long rectangle and cut a bunch of little slits at the end of it. Put a dab of hot glue on there, and then I'm just tying it up. Got a few strings of hot glue on the base, so I'm just going to trim those. Dry a moment, and now we're going to take this little candy cane colored string that I have, and we're going to put a dab of hot glue on the top of the head. We're going to put a little piece of the string there, and we're just going to twist in a circular motion, and then we're going to put the end of it down and gently press it down with our fingers and try not to burn them with the hot glue. And that's the finished project. Thanks for crafting with me. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.